It's Night Nurse from Bird's Nest and Lanzarote and Comedy of Errors. Night Nurse in the lead over the final flight. Night Nurse from Bird's Nest, then Lanzarote, and racing into the final 150 yards, and Bird's Nest putting in a tremendous run. It's Night Nurse from Bird's Nest racing up towards the line, and Bird's Nest beginning to get up on the far side, but Night Nurse is holding him, and as they come to the line, Night Nurse is going to win it. At the line, Night Nurse is the winner, Bird's Nest is second.
On the final turn, and Regent's Garden and Night Nurse is getting chopped by Regent's Garden, and Paddy Broderick is having a terrible job trying to get him out of the trouble. Regent's Garden is the leader. Dramatist coming up smoothly on the stand side. Bird's Nest on the far side. The meet in the sandwiches, Night Nurse. They're coming to the last place. Dramatist and Bird's Nest. Night Nurse is beaten. Bird's Nest has the lead. Dramatist putting in a strong run on the stand side, but Bird's Nest quickening well. Bird's Nest has the lead. Dramatist is finishing well though on the stand side, but Bird's Nest has the lead. A length and a half. They're coming to the last 150 yards. Bird's Nest from Dramatist, Night Nurse and Regent's Garden on the line is 3/4 of a length, and Bird's Nest has won on the course that he has shown so little regard for in the past. Dramatist is second, Night Nurse is third, Regent's Garden is fourth.
They're desperately close together. Bird's Nest just gets his head in front, but Night Nurse fights back. Night Nurse in front again, coming to the line. Night Nurse is going to win it at the line. A photo finish.
To win it for the third time from Royal Mail. Sea Pigeon now taking closer orders. They come now into the penultimate flight. Bird's Nest now setting light for home, and Royal Mail now beginning to lose touch, but here comes Sea Pigeon. He's chopping down the leeway, but Bird's Nest full of running as they run now towards the final quarter mile, being pursued by Sea Pigeon. Sea Pigeon, who seems to be cruising up, but Bird's Nest still has the best yard, and they come now into the final one, but Sea Pigeon, they're right on terms. They come now towards the final flight, but Bird's Nest is over first. Sea Pigeon on the near side, and they've now gone clear the other two. They've got about 100 yards still to go, and it's Bird's Nest on the far side. Sea Pigeon fighting hard, and as Sea Pigeon now goes into the lead, and Sea Pigeon now takes it, and as they come towards the line, Sea Pigeon wins it from Bird's Nest, and those two finish a long way clear of Royal Mail, who's to come up to take third place in front of Royal Gay. And so the result of the Bellway Fighting Fist is first, number 3, Sea Pigeon, owned by Mr. Pat Muldoon, trained by Peter Eastby and ridden by Ian Watkinson. Second, number 1, Bird's Nest, owned by Mr. I.C. Scott in partnership with his trainer, Bob Turnell, who incidentally is 64 today, so birthday wishes to Bob Turnell, wish it could have been a winner, and also the completing of the 3-timer for Bird's Nest in this race. And of course, Bird's Nest was ridden by Bob's son, Andy. And so that's the 1-2 of the Bellway Fighting Fist hurdle. An exciting race. So let's go back and rejoin the closing stages as we pick up the voice of Bruff Scott.
And remarkable things here, because first of all, Bird's Nest on the right had hung pretty severely. You see Andy Turnell pull his whip over to his left hand. He can go very, very dramatic to the left, Bird's Nest. But Sea Pigeon looked to be in a bit of trouble on the turn, but he's come really good. But I wasn't quite sure how much he was going to find. John Joe himself was saying, I don't think he's going to find very much. And we were all very worried as he came to the last. It was going to depend on how they jumped and how much they found. Well, here they come to the last now. And a tremendous jump, in fact, by Bird's Nest. But can Sea Pigeon find any more? Well, the battle is on now. Bird's Nest goes to the left, but that isn't really what stops him. What does him is Sea Pigeon's tremendous final finishing speed. They used to say that old Sea Pigeon was ungenuine, but just look about the way he sets his head out and really sprints past. And Bird's Nest, for all his talent, can't complete the 3-timer. And there goes Sea Pigeon past. He actually has a cheek to prick his old ears as he goes past the post. He's a really convincing winner for Ian Watkinson. Bird's Nest is second, and John Joe O'Neill beside me is a delighted man, but was a little bit worried at heart.
Spot there. Galahad, the hoop sleeves in the lead from Bird's Nest, Rathconrath, Connaught Ranger and Celtic Ride. All going well within themselves as they sweep down the hill, make their way on a long route to the second last hurdle. Galahad from Bird's Nest over towards the far left, the Celtic Ride still going very well. Connaught Ranger in the blinkers, and Rathconrath on the right of the inside, on the right of the picture as they come down to the second last flight now. Bird's Nest comes up to join Galahad, Celtic Ride on the far side, Rathconrath and Connaught Ranger And now this long run approaching the home turn towards the last flight with Bird's Nest in the lead from Celtic Ride, who's gone second. Rath Conrath still very much in touch on the inside. Connaught Ranger poised just in behind them as Galahad drops back to fifth, and they come down to the final flight now with quickening impressively Celtic Ride and the sheepskin nose band towards the near side from Bird's Nest, the favourite, over on the far side, little between the two, then Rath Conrath and Connaught Ranger as they come to the final flight in the Beulah Hurdle. Celtic Ride and Bird's Nest touched on almost together. Celtic Ride with a factual advantage on the near side from Bird's Nest over on the far side. Rath Conrath and Connaught Ranger producing a good run on the near side too. It's Bird's Nest over on the far side. Celtic Ride who's taking it up now as they race up towards the line. It's Celtic Ride being pressed by Connaught Ranger and Bird's Nest coming back on the far side. It's anybody's race as they come to the line. Bird's Nest on the far side. Celtic Ride on the near side. Connaught Ranger.
Bird's Nest seeking to win it for the third time. Sea Pigeon for the second. It's Bird's Nest in the lead. Sea Pigeon in second. And this could in fact play into the hands of Sea Pigeon because Bird's Nest has the lead. Sea Pigeon going in his slipstream. A Bird's Nest it is from Sea Pigeon second, and these two have gone clear of the other three. In line for the second last, jumping it now. Bird's Nest only by a length and a half from Sea Pigeon, who's been brought to tackle the leader over on the far side, and these two have now gone several lengths clear of Handicap in third, the early leader Flying Diplomat in fourth. Pinero is outclassed, way back last, as they enter the final quarter of a mile. And now it's Sea Pigeon who's come through to take over the lead from Bird's Nest. So as they race up towards the line, it's the big two clear. This is the final flight, and it's Sea Pigeon looking as though he's going to win it for the second year running from Bird's Nest to 1 in 76 and 77. They're on the run for home, 150 yards to go in this really glue-pot ground at Newcastle, but Bird's Nest is fighting back, and Bird's Nest is getting up as they race to the line. Bird's Nest has gone on again. It's Bird's Nest who's going to win it for the third time at the line. Bird's Nest wins the fighting fifth. Sea Pigeon is second, and these two, what a race they ran.
Nest, Connaught Ranger, Paiute losing ground, Pollardstown coming there, Sea Pigeon only just in behind the leaders, and it's Monksfield in the lead now from Pollardstown, Sea Pigeon just in behind them, Bird's Nest and Connaught Ranger very close, coming to the second last flight now in the champion hurdle, and it's Monks.
Cruised up to Monksfield certainly, but on his inside. This time he was on his outside. John Joe didn't let go of his head as they came to the last.
Striding up to the line, the veteran 10-year-old, he's won it at last, Sea Pigeon wins the champion hurdle. Monksfield is beaten for the first time in 3 years. Bird's Nest is third. 4 is Royal Boxer. 5, 6 and 7 are Pollardstown. A long run towards the second last flight. Bird's Nest, freight forwarder, Connaught Ranger. Just in behind them, Halin. Behind Halin, Gay George, Celtic Ride and Ivarine as they run downhill now. Bird's Nest in the lead from Connaught Ranger and freight forwarder. Halin, Celtic Ride going up on the outside. Gay George on the inner has just relegated Ivarine to last place, but they're pretty closely packed as they run downhill. Bird's Nest, already twice winner of this Beulah Hurdle, runs downhill in the lead from Connaught Ranger, going well just in behind him. Celtic Ride towards the outside, freight forwarder Halin. Gay George still going very well within himself. Then Ivarine as they come down to the second last flight, and after this is a very long run to the last. Bird's Nest lands in the lead from Celtic Ride. Connaught Ranger, freight forwarder Halin. Gay George still poised just in behind him. They're rounding the home turn with one flight left to dump. Bird's Nest in the lead from Connaught Ranger, Celtic Ride, then Gay George, then Halin coming there on the stand side. Coming down now towards the final flight, and as they do so, Bird's Nest is the leader from Celtic Ride. Connaught Ranger, Gay George over on the far side. It's Bird's Nest from Connaught Ranger, Celtic Ride, Gay George, Halin also still well in contention as they come to the final flight. Anybody's race. Celtic Ride lands just in the lead on the near side from Bird's Nest, and then Halin putting in a very good run over on the far side. Gay George trying to get back into the picture, but it's Celtic Ride on the near side. Bird's Nest over on the far side. Halin coming between horses now, and it's Bird's Nest from Halin into the race towards the line. Bird's Nest, Halin, and Bird's Nest has won it. Bird's Nest has won it for me. From Celtic Ride probably second, and Halin third, and Connaught Ranger 4, and 5 was Gay George.
Well, about a mile out, Andy took it up on Bird's Nest last year. It was a similar ground, and we had gone very slow gallop up to then. And turning for home after the third last, Andy kicked on round into the straight, which is pretty bad ground because both the hurlers and chasers run on the same ground round there. And I had to get to work on Pigeon just then. I had to niggle him along, you know. And after the second last, Andy had a run of me up the rails, and I was always struggling to get there. I'm going to the last, I'm going to get there. And you can't disappoint all that once he starts running, you know.
Yes.
And I just hit the front too quick on him, halfway up the run in, you know. He thought he had won, and a little bit tired on the ground probably, you know, and Andy got a run back on Bird's Nest, you know.
If you were riding him today, John Joe, would you hope that, for instance, Pollardstown may set a faster pace?
Well, I think so. He did last year in the Welsh Champion Huddle, and he went the right over gallop, and he had me stretched for a while, you know, until I jumped the last, really. He preferred probably better ground as well with Pollardstown. It's a stiffer, very stiff track. Sea Pigeon sometimes gets it, sometimes he doesn't, on the flat even, you know. And,
yes. Now, what about the Sea Pigeon, as you can see, is 2-to-1 favourite from 7-to-4. There's Starfen going across the picture, whom you didn't ride in the Daily Express Triumph, but he probably would have won if he'd stood up.
Yeah, well, I won in the Kennedy Huddle at Liverpool afterwards on him on this similar ground. He loves the ground as Starfen. And it'd probably bring him a lot closer today.
There he is now. Sorry to interrupt. Just going across the middle of your picture, number 5 with the quartered colours. On you go.
He's a very genuine little horse, you know, and he'll run really well, I think, you know, because he loves the ground. So I should think it'll bring him a lot closer today.
But he shouldn't be quite good enough.
He shouldn't be, no, but the ground is very, very soft, you know, and that'll bring him a little closer, I think, anyway.
And Steve Knight, of course, on Bird's Nest, and you see in the quartered colours there today. As I say, this is the 11th time he's met Sea Pigeon. Sea Pigeon has won 7 of those races, but Bird's Nest won this last year. He's won this race.
Going full tilt after the 3 leaders, and I'd say that any one of the 4 could win at the moment. Pollardstown, who's made much of the running, is still there in the van. Bird's Nest coming along those far rails, which he did last year. Then comes Starfen and the champion herder, Sea Pigeon. Not much allowed, Sea Pigeon, a mistake, but he's on his feet still. But that mistake, I think, could have cost him the race. Bird's Nest faltering now, and Pollardstown going on again. Racing now down to the final quarter of a mile in the Bellway, fighting 5th. Pollardstown bidding to make all the running. Bird's Nest in 2nd, Starfen 3rd, Sea Pigeon only 4th. These 4 are clear of the 3 outsiders, Handicap, Fata Morgana and OI Oyston. They're running now towards the 8th and final flight, and it's Pollardstown, Blinkett, who's making all the running. From Bird's Nest coming back at him, and Starfen too, and it's between these 3 now. Sea Pigeon can't win it as they race up towards the line. Pollardstown it is, who's clear at the moment, still going wide, getting the best ground. Sea Pigeon come at him again strongly. Then comes Bird's Nest, but coming up towards the line, Pollardstown's going to make it from Bird's Nest and Sea Pigeon at the line. Pollardstown just the winner. A photo though from Bird's Nest, Sea Pigeon in 3rd, and Starfen back in 4th place. And these 4 well clear of the other 3 who are still running: Fata Morgana, Handicap, and finally OI Oyster.
As we pick them up, we hear that there's a steward's inquiry, but at this stage there's no doubt that Pollardstown's in front of Bird's Nest, but Sea Pigeon over on the far rails making ground steadily. What do you think, John Joe? I think myself that Bird's Nest has probably just got there, but what do you think?
I think Bird's Nest has got there. I think Sea Pigeon was 2nd. I think at the second last, Pollardstown hit it and flicked the huddle back and hit Sea Pigeon as well, you know, which didn't help his causes at all. And I think Bird's Nest maybe have come across Sea Pigeon here.
That could be, couldn't it? This could be what the steward's inquiry is about. Bird's Nest, this time hanging to his right. He sometimes goes to his left. He appears to have come across Sea Pigeon a little bit. You saw Sea Pigeon duck his head over as Alan pulled him out. That, no doubt, is the steward's inquiry, but the question is, has Bird's Nest got up to catch Pollardstown? At this stage, you wouldn't say so from our angle, but the angle's very misleading. I personally believe he has. Here comes the post now, and Bird's Nest catching Pollardstown with every stride. Sea Pigeon is definitely not going to finish in front, but might just conceivably finish 2nd, which may be important in the steward's inquiry. Bird's Nest, I'm almost sure, getting up there to push his nose across the line in front, and here comes Sea Pigeon. Does he catch Pollardstown? Heaven knows, and without a photograph we won't be able to tell, and there's still the...
So Bird's Nest is the winner, Sea Pigeon is 2nd, so the 2 principals, 1st and 2nd, and Pollardstown just got tapped for speed in the closing stages. He was back in 3rd place. So the incredible Bird's Nest has won this race for the 4th time. He beat Sea Pigeon 1.5 lengths last year. He's beaten him by only a head or so this time. In 78, he was beaten 1.5 lengths by Sea Pigeon. Then in both 77 and 76.
Get to run up the rail, but I don't know if he knew Alan was there or not, or didn't maybe realise he was that close. But Alan seems to be going now, and they're both running. And just in a few moments, you'll see Alan. He's going there, and he's getting tighter and tighter. Now he's having to switch out.
It must have been now that Bird's Nest was going across to his right, and you saw Sea Pigeon's head jerk as Alan changed course. As you said, in fact, John Joe, the old fellow might have quite enjoyed that.
Well, yeah, you know, he'd love a quick change and a challenge, you know, and he'd really get running, you know.
And indeed he does, because of course it still depends on whether he catches Pollardstown. In these last few yards, he's still got a length to make up by the look of it there. But he does make it up. He doesn't catch Bird's Nest, but he does catch Pollardstown, and he also caught the steward's eye. So Sea Pigeon is the winner of the Bellway, fighting fifth. And although it's really bad luck on Bird's Nest, a very popular victory.
Yeah.
You never know what he's going to do, really. I mean, it's just...
Well, the public had a love-hate relationship with him. Love because he's so brilliant, but hate in a way because he's so often, particularly with your style, looks as if he's going to win, and then there isn't as much in the locker as possible. I mean, how well is he actually going, say, 2 homes from home with you?
Well, normally you're on the bit until going to the last, you know, and he usually finds a fair bit of foot. But on his day, he's brilliant. You know, I mean, he should have won a gold champion hurdle along the line. He's beaten nearly every horse you could mention that's won it, sort of thing, at some time. But
Andy, here at Kempton, the right-handed course, he's never actually gone past the post first, even though he won in the stewards' room off Celtic Ride last year.
Yeah, he deserved to get it last year. Yeah, definitely. You know, I mean, the other horse came right across him. I've literally pulled up and gone round and got beat a short head. Well, I mean, I think he was unlucky to lose a race at Newcastle. We've just seen.
Sure.
He infringed the rules, but. I mean, he's gone away from Sea Pigeon again on the line, isn't he?
But in the past here at Kempton, I mean, he's actually come across the left so much, you've come up this far rail. I mean, to some extent, are you prepared to let him go there if he's prepared to wander?
Yeah.
What would your sort of plan be?
I don't mind him hanging if he's running, and if he doesn't interfere with anything, it's better than that to let him run and hang, I think, than try and straighten him, because you have to pull him up altogether then, you know. I know one time I rode him here, I thought it was better to come up the stand rail, but he still got beat.
And Andy, tell us about this race. You beat both Celtic Ride and Halin at Cheltenham, but they're better off with you. There's people making plans to beat you. Do you think you'll make it?
I can't beat either of them. Can I strictly on the form, but they're getting on, you know, they're good without me.
Yeah. Well, Andy,
£4 worse off, you know, with
but in one word, do you think you can make it all the same?
I think he can, yeah, if he's at his very best. You know?
Well, Andy, thanks very much. Thanks for coming on. That's very good of Andy Turnell, because the bell is actually going. We've kept him late a bit, and so we'll definitely be paying the fine if he gets late, but I'm sorry for that.
Frankham Nursery quite happy to sit in behind them with Celtic Ride as they make their way towards the third last. They come across the intersection of the courses. Freight Forwarder going a good pace in the lead, and followed by Bird's Nest, jumped well then. And now the other 3 runners, now little to choose between them. Halin just in front of Celtic Ride, now Topsin being relegated to the back market. So they now go into the turn for home. And it's Freight Forward still in the lead. From Bird's Nest in second place. Halin on the outside of Celtic Ride, and Topsin dropped right out of it. In this, the William Hill Christmas Hurdle, as they continue round the turn. They have 2 more flights of hurdles to go. Freight Forward is still the leader from Bird's Nest, Halin and Celtic Ride. And the second, third and fourth well grouped up together as Freight Forward continues to make the best of his way home, but now being pressed and the pressure really on now, because Bird's Nest comes through on the rail now, and Celtic Ride got a double handful right in behind him, but it's Bird's Nest who jumps at the first from Freight Forwarder, and then comes Celtic Ride and Halin. So they have 1 to go as they run now towards this final flight. It's Bird's Nest, and Halin now looms right up on the outside. Celtic Ride right there with a chance on the inner, and it's between the leading 3 as they come into the final flight. Celtic Ride on the far side, and Bird's Nest, who very nearly went there. They got 100 yards still to go, and it's Celtic Ride in the lead and going away from Bird's Nest and Halin as they come up towards the line. A success here from John Frankham on Celtic Ride. Bird's Nest is second, Halin third, Freight Forwarder now finishing fourth, and as I look back, a very tired and well-beaten Topsin will eventually finish last of.
Coming down to the second from home in the Scottish Champion Hurdle, and it's Gay George in a clear lead. He's made all the running so far, but Sea Pigeon now looming up on the outside of Bird's Nest, and he's spewed second and third place. Then comes Ekbalco and Jugador, 2 from home. They're all safely over that. Gay George in the lead from Sea Pigeon and Ekbalco. Then Bird's Nest and Jugador coming down to the final flight. Gay George in the lead from Ekbalco, Sea Pigeon and Jugador at the last. Gay George jumps in, but pecks on landing, gets away with it though. It's Gay George in the lead from Bird's Nest, finishing strongly on the far side. Ekbalko on the stand side, Juggernaut, and then Sea Pigeon is now last, coming well inside the final half furlong, and Bird's Nest storms to take it up. Gay George battling on, but at the line it's going to be Bird's Nest who's going to win it. At the post, Bird's Nest the winner, Gay George is second, Ekbalko third, Juggernaut four, and the last horse to pass the post was a disappointing run by the top-weighted Sea Pigeon.
Yes, disappointing for the while.
With Whitson Chellies on the outside the challenger. Then Rialto Nona getting ever closer.
Rio will keep a straight course, he would have won 10 minutes, but he ran a blind all the same. Anyway, Port Talbot Planthire is what PTP Planthire stands for. They had a decent horse called Moringo, you may remember. West would be right there, would cruise up to them and cruise past them, but he was a long way short of his best at Kempton. Finished fourth that day, beaten a long, long way. He was very sick with the virus in the summer. He's rising 12, and for the moment, I'm afraid, one has to say there's a question mark about him. He's been proving people wrong for ages and ages. He's a brilliant, wonderful horse, and I'm going to overrule him, but hope he'll prove me wrong. There's to Bird's Nest, who is a standing dish here, tends to hang, very hard to ride. Andy Turnell knows him very well, and he ran very short of his best. There's a question mark about whether old horses go at some stage, whether he is yet back. Here's how they bet.
And Pollard's struggling, Bird's Nest under pressure. Then Gay Chance outpaced, then Sea Pigeon. Tom Noel is tailed off, and this is a very, very smooth performance so far by Ekbalko, who's got 3 furlongs to race, 2 flights to jump. Skipped over that one. Pollard's is in second place, Bird's Nest is third, and these are well clear from Sea Pigeon, and Gay Chance trying to plug on. Just over 2 furlongs to go. Ekbalko in the lead, David Goring looking round, and he sees the other 3 jockeys under pressure. They've got 1 flight of hurdle to jump. Ekbalko in the lead showed that blistering turn of foot to take up the running on the far side, in the lead by some 3 to 4 lengths, but Pollardstown and Gay Chance are closing, coming towards the last. Ekbalko from in second place, Gay Chance, then Pollardstown. Then comes Bird's Nest. Sea Pigeon is well back in 5th place, but it's Ekbalko in the lead and clear. Ekbalko well clear. From Pollardstown second, Gay Chance third, Bird's Nest 4. Sea Pigeon a beaten horse, very sad performance by him, but it's Ekbalko in the lead, coming home, relatively hard held at the line. Ekbalko is a winner, Pollardstown is second, Gay Chance is third. Then came Bird's Nest in 4th place, and behind Bird's Nest came Sea Pigeon, and trailing Sea Pigeon was Tom Noel. And so do we herald a new champion, because...
And so they have 2 flights of hurdle to jump. Winter Melody, who's been disputing it with Kaibo on the inner. These 2 continue to make it as they come now toward the second last. Winter Melody with the noseband, Kaibo on the far side. And then comes Bird's Nest, Sea Pigeon and Frausto. They've got about a quarter of a mile still to run, and Bird's Nest now is a danger, but it's Kaibo who's taking it up. They run now towards the final flight. Kaibo in the lead from Bird's Nest. Sea Pigeon also unleashing a run towards the stand side. This is the final flight, and it's Kaibo over in the lead, strongly pressed from Bird's Nest. Sea Pigeon trying hard to put in an attack, but it's Kaibo holding Bird's Nest, but Bird's Nest now taking up the advantage, and they've got about 100 yards still to go, and it's Bird's Nest in the lead from Kaibo on the far side. Sea Pigeon on the near side as they come up towards the line. Bird's Nest and Andy Turnell in victory in the Scottish Champion hurdle.